Today we have a showdown between two of New Haven's most beloved and historic pizza restaurants, Frank Pepe's and Sally's Apizza. Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show. If you have a minute, I have an opinion. I'm going to order two of the same pizzas from both restaurants. I'll show you what both pizzas are like and also any differences I find. We start at Frank Pepe's Pizzeria Napoletana. Frank Pepe has just turned 100 years old this year, and they now have over 17 locations. We arrived just after opening at 11 a.m. on a Sunday afternoon. Please stick around until the end of this video when I reveal the star of the show. You don't want to miss it. Hi, there's Arthur from the Minute Review Show, and today I'm at a very special place. We just drove into Stamford, Connecticut, and when we drove into Connecticut, we saw a sign that said, "Welcome to the pizza capital of the United States." Well, that was a bold statement. You know, I'm from New York City, and there are a lot of pizza parlors, pizzerias that might say something different. But in any case, we wanted to try two different pizzerias in Stamford, Connecticut. And those two pizzerias are Frank Pepe's and Sally's Apizza. Why did we want to go to Stamford? Because from what I've heard, there are always lines in New Haven for both of those restaurants. We wanted to take the more convenient route. I know this might sound bad, but it's much easier to go to a place where there probably isn't a long line. I know those are the originals, but I'm sure they'll keep their standards up to par in Stamford. So we're going to try 4 pizzas today, 2 at Sally's and 2 at Frank Pepe's, and they'll be the exact same pizzas. We're gonna test them on quality, and I'll give you my opinion on pizza. I know pizza is a very personal decision in terms of the quality. Some people like thin crust, some people like thicker crust, some people like deep dish, whatever. But I'll just give you my opinion about the pizzas, and you decide whether you like one or the other. I should also mention that Frank Pepe's and Sally's makes their pizza using a coal-fired oven. I'm from New York and near Long Island, and there's a place nearby in Port Washington called Salvatore's. They make coal-fired pizza. I like coal-fired pizza because of the crispiness of their char and basically their thin crust. Coal-fires present a whole new flavor profile because there's more of a char flavor, and coal oven pizza tend to cook pizzas really quick, so you get a hit of a lot of heat and a lot of burned goodness on these pizzas. We're gonna try out both places again today, and you can decide whether you like one or the other. Okay, let's take a look at the original Frank Pepe Pizza Napoletana menu. Now here's the front of the menu, the first page, and of course we have the small, medium, and large, 12 inches, 16 inches, and 18 inches. Apparently it's 8 slices, 12 slices, and 16 slices. And it comes with a whole series of toppings over here. And there are different prices for each of these toppings, as you can see over here. Next, you have their specialty pies. And Frank's, they're famous for the original tomato pie, which is basically tomatoes with some pecorino and romano incorporated into that sauce. So this is the original pizza. The other pizza that they're famous for is called the white clam pizza. White clam pizza is what I'm going to order today because I love clams. We all love seafood. Here are some other specialty pies down here. And then we have what they call fan favorites, which I guess is more to the newer style of toppings. So you have bacon and onion, you have pepperoni and cherry peppers, you have your regular pepperoni pie here. So they come in all 3 sizes. You have white pizza with different toppings. And then what's interesting is that you have a Frank Pepe small pie sampler, which I feel is an excellent deal because over here you can get 3 small pies for $45. And this encompasses the specialty pies, the regular pizza, the fan favorites and the white pizzas. So yeah, you can get a pretty good selection. You can get 4 for 60, 5 for 75. So this is actually a very good deal. Now that we flipped over the menu, we have the other part of their menu, which is a non-pizza menu. Here's their salads. You have an Italian salad, Caesar salad. Here you have their beverages. Okay. So here's your complete list of the Foxen Park soda, which is the Connecticut-based soda. You have fountain sodas here, which are $3.50. And then here's the story of Frank Pepe. For those who are interested in alcoholic beverages, here's their beer menu and their wine menu. It's nice and small. And then we have their dessert menu. They have flourless chocolate cake, some tiramisu, caramel mascarpone cheesecake, cannoli pie, gelato, and dessert trio. I should also mention that I've been to a Frank Pepe's before. I went to the Mohegan Sun Casino over 10 years ago, and they have a branch over there. It's actually pretty good. That was the first time I ever tried a Frank Pepe pizza, and I did have the clam pizza, and I really loved it. It was chock full of clams, and it had that nice cheese on it. It's not a tomato-based sauce, so the one thing that I remembered about it was how crispy it was and also how fresh those clams were. So we ordered that and also the what you call a doppio pepperoni pizza. So hopefully it's as good as I remember it 10 years ago, but I can't wait to show you what it looks like. In one final note about Frank Pepe's Pizzeria, this is the year 2025, and it's the 100th anniversary of Frank Pepe's Pizzeria. It's been around since 1925. So yeah, this is truly a historical place. Today I asked for a Coke in a bottle, but I did not realize that there's a local cola that they have here. It's called Foxen Park Cola, and it says natural cola flavor. I think this is a Connecticut-based cola. So I'm going to give this a try pretty soon. I'm going to try the Foxen Park soda. Now I ordered the cola. One bottle is $4.50, and this is what it looks like. It looks like a regular cola. Let's give this a try. Okay, the sweetness is just like a regular Coca-Cola, a regular Pepsi Cola. The flavor is different from Coke in that it doesn't have that spicy flavor. It has more of a molassesy, mapley flavor, which is pretty interesting. It has its own flavor profile. Yeah, it's not like a Pepsi, it's not like a Coke. It has more of the, maybe a cane sugar sweetness. So yeah, it's a very good, serviceable type of cola. This glass bottle is about 12 ounces. So yeah, it seems to be a local favorite. They have a whole selection of this Foxen brand at Frank Pepe's. Okay, the two pizzas have come to my table, and as I expected, there's a large char on the pizza, and both of these pizzas are 12 inches in diameter. And by eyeballing it, yeah, they definitely are 12 inches in diameter. And the interesting thing here is that the pizza isn't in a perfect circle. It's kind of irregular shaped, which is pretty nice. This is more like an oval shape. This one is more of a circle. But yeah, you can see the huge char on this pepperoni pizza. This is called the doppio pepperoni. And you can see the black bits, the burn bits on it. You can see the char over here. And they cut it into 8 different slices. Now here's our clam pizza. The clam pizza, what appears to be some clam here and maybe some garlic pieces here. And here's some what I think is probably mozzarella. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to flip the bottom of the pizza right under this charred piece and see what it looks like. And as you can see, this is the telltale sign of a coal-fired pizza because it's nice and black down here. And look how thin the pizza is. It looks to be about maybe 3 millimeters thick. So these are very thin slices. Now let's check out the pepperoni, and I'm gonna flip the bottom and take a look at this one. And once again, we have that coal oven blackness on the bottom of the pizza, and it's super thin pizza. So yes, this is going to be a taste adventure, and I'm really interested to see what these components are that are in this clam pizza and in this pepperoni pizza. Okay, the first pizza that I'm going to try is the white clam pizza, which is Frank Pepe's most famous pizza, other than their tomato pie. So I'm going to read to you the ingredients right off the menu. Right off the menu, it says white clam pizza is fresh clams, grated pepperoni, pecorino romano, garlic, and oregano. So I'm going to try this right now and take a look at this. This is super thin, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters in thickness, and let's try this. Absolutely delicious. The first thing that hits me is the clams. The clams are very fresh. It has a nice chew. Another thing that really jumps out at me is the strong charred flavor. You can taste the coal in this pizza. So that's different from most of the pizzas that you'll ever have in New York, because most pizzas in New York are from gas-fired ovens. So yeah, this adds more of the outdoor flavor, outdoorsy flavor. As I'm biting into the crust, you hear the crunch that is very apparent here. Once again, that crunch I think is indicative of a coal-fired pizza. Okay. In terms of the cheese, I taste more of the Romano instead of the Pecorino. Pecorino has more of a strong cheesy flavor. It's not like mozzarella where you have a pull. It's just like a grated Pecorino and Romano on top. I have to say, when I'm eating this pizza, I feel like it's almost like like having a linguine and clam sauce, but in bread form. So this is quite nice. As I'm getting to the edge of the pizza, when I'm biting it, it feels almost like I'm eating a potato chip, nice and thin, crispy and cracker-like, with a big helping of char. This is very nice. Okay, the next slice I'm going to have is the doppio pepperoni. Now, they cut it up into 8 slices, just like the clam pizza, and I took one of the larger slices, and this one, I believe, definitely has mozzarella as the base. So to give you the exact description, the doppio pepperoni has crushed Italian tomatoes, has mozzarella, and extra pepperoni. So basically, it's a pepperoni loaded traditional pizza. So if you take a look at the slice, it's readily apparent that this is mozzarella. It's not Romano or Pecorino, because you can tell that there's more of a flop to this pizza. The other cheeses are more grated on, so they're stuck onto the crust, but this is more floppy. So let's try this. Okay. This tastes like a conventional pizza. The mozzarella tastes like mozzarella. What I need to do is that I need to try the mozzarella on its own. So here's a piece. The mozzarella is a good quality. It's not overly gummy like a bubble gum. It has a strong dairy flavor. Not super strong, but strong that you know that it's good quality, and it tastes like a low moisture cheese. The crust, you can see the dark bits on the bottom. It's just the same as the other, which is the nice charred flavor of a coal fire. The pepperoni is appropriately charred and salty, pretty good. And if I pick this up, the pepperoni slices that are present in this pizza is about the size of a nickel. So that's what you have here. And they've curled up a little bit. They're sort of like a median between a cup pepperoni and a full-size pepperoni. So they're not super thickly sliced. So it's somewhere in the middle. You know, now with the newfangled Detroit-style pizzas, they tend to have the thick cups with pepperoni. Well, this is thin and a cup, so it's somewhere in the middle. As far as the tomato sauce is concerned, it's bright, it's fresh. There's not a ton of it, but yeah, it's good. So all 3 elements combined together, yeah, I think this is more conventional. The special thing about this pizza is, once again, the fact that it's made in a coal oven, so you have that that nice char flavor to the pizza. But to be honest, everything else is like a conventional pizza that you can get anywhere. But the coal oven makes this one a bit special. I wanted to mention a little bit about the interior of the restaurant. The majority of this restaurant are booths, and some of these booths are really big. They can fit up to 6 people in each booth. You do have a choice between sitting at a table or at a booth. It's nice and big, and the service is very good. The waitress came here and asked us if it was our first time. We said yes, and she reminded us that we could get $10 off our first order if we sign up with their app. So that was very nice of her to remind us. The meal is over, and I want to remind you that I'm going to have a star of the show today, but it's not going to be a star of the show of a specific item. It's going to be a star of the show as to which pizzeria I prefer. But just to remind you that it's my preference. So I'm just going to show you what I had, and you decide whether you like one over the other. So yeah, we're going to head over to Sally's Apizza in a couple of hours, and I hope you stick to this video and see what I get there. The final check at Frank Pepe's with the $10 discount is $31.35 before tip. Now that we've tried Frank Pepe's, we're ready to go to Sally's Apizza. We rested for a few hours and we finally drove into downtown Stamford, where we arrived at Sally's Apizza. Sally's currently has 6 locations, all in New England. We arrived at their very modern restaurant at 3 p.m. We were quickly seated and were given menus, but we already knew what we would order. Since this is my dinner, I decided to order 2 additional dishes to show you other items on their menu. A little historical fact about Sally's Apizza is that the original location in New Haven opened in 1938, which makes Sally's 87 years old. Now's the time to check out the food, so stick around. Okay, now we're at our second location in Stamford, Sally's Apizza, and right now we're here. It's around 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. We're going to order some more pies, and basically the pies that we ordered before, we're going to order over here too, so that we can make a direct comparison. We're also going to order a couple of other dishes, just to try out some of the other stuff that they have. We're going to have a go at this, and stay tuned. Sally's is located in an area with a lot of office buildings. I think we're in the downtown area of Stamford, Connecticut. In fact, I get New York City vibes when I walk on the streets. This is actually the first time I've ever been in downtown Stamford. This is definitely the center of commerce in Stamford. Okay, let's take a look at the Sally's Pizza menu. We're going to look at the main part of the menu, which is where all the pizzas are. There are 2 types of pizzas. We have the New Haven Apizza, which is the base. Now, the base has a mozzarella and tomato sauce pie, a tomato sauce pie, and a white pie. After you order the New Haven Apizza base, then you order the toppings. Now, the toppings are pretty simple. There's about 9 of them. You have meatball, you have unroasted chicken, hot honey, whipped ricotta, all types of stuff, pepperoni, sausage, and bacon, the basic stuff. And then you have a seasonal special, which is a ready-made pizza. I would think that this would change depending on the season. And then here's your specialty pies. Okay, they have their own specific special toppings. Okay, next part of the menu is the starters. You can see the garlic bread, you can see wings, calamari, meatballs. Here's your salad section. Next you have your Italian dishes entree, chicken parm, chicken francese, pastas. Next you have the desserts. Here's some cannoli pie, olive oil cake, and tiramisu. Sally's Apizza also has lunch specials. The lunch specials are from Monday to Friday, 11:30 to 4 p.m. And here they are. And in addition, you would have some fountain sodas and some bottled sodas. Here's their alcohols. I'll quickly scan through these for those who want some alcohol with their meal. Some white wines, sparkling wines. At our last location, we learned that Frank Pepe's Pizza is 100 years old. Now, Sally's of Pete's was opened in 1938, so in 2025, it's 87 years old. So these are two definite classics. They have branched out. There's many locations. I wouldn't say many for Sally's, but many locations for Frank's Pizza. But for Sally's, I believe this is the second location for their restaurant. This location, once again, is in Stamford. So we're basically comparing the two Stamford branches of the two oldest pizzerias in New Haven. I hope you enjoy what you see. The food is coming, so stick around. There's one thing that I noticed about Sally's of Pete's. This building is a high-rise. The dining room has a combination of booths that are brown. I saw that in New Haven, their booths are also brown, so I think they kept the same color scheme. Also, there's a bar behind me with bar seating, so I think for the overflow, you can sit at the bar. And there are individual tables that seat 4 that are at the center of the dining room. So the dining room, I would say, is not overly huge, but it could fit, I would think, probably like 50 or 60 people, or maybe even more, 80 people, quite comfortably. There's one section that I'm sitting in with the bar, and then there is some more seating down to the far end of the dining room. Okay, the pizzas have arrived at our table. The first pizza we got is the white pizza with the clams. Now, they didn't specify the type of cheese. I believe this is probably just the mozzarella. So let's take a look. It is, both pizzas appear to be round. This is more square than round. This one is more round. And they both have that dark crust, that coal-fired oven crust. And let's take a close look. The clams are all chopped up. And I'm not sure if there's garlic in this one as compared to the one that we had before. Let's flip over the bottom of the pizza. And yes, we have that coal oven dark bottom crust in addition to the edges that are blackened. Now let's take a look at the pepperoni. Now the pepperoni also appears to be the small cup pepperoni. I don't know the thickness. I'm gonna give that a try later. And we also have the dark edges, the burned edges of the coal-fired pizza. Let's flip to the bottom. And yes, some more blackened pieces. And let's see how thin the slices are. Okay, the slices appear to be just as thin as the other one. It looks like a about a 3 millimeter thickness. So yeah, we're gonna give these a try. And they look very similar, but we won't know until we actually give this a taste. Okay, the first slice I'm going to try is the clam pizza. This is the clam pizza on a white base. This is a white pizza base, so no tomato sauce. It's also very thin, thicker to the crust side, and once again, similar to the other pizza at Frank's, about 3 millimeters thick, cracker size. Let's try this. Okay. Now, surprisingly, the clams have the same type of chew. They're both kind of meaty. They have a nice bite to the chew. The interesting thing is that the cheese itself doesn't have the cheesiness, the I don't want to use the word stinkiness, but that's the best word. It doesn't have that strong cheese flavor as the one in Frank's. The cheese is perfectly fine, and this pizza also has that charcoal flavor to it too, and it's crispy on the bottom. Not bad. Oh no, if I were to compare this one to the one that I had at Frank's, I think Frank's has the stronger smelly cheese flavor, more of a cheesy accent. This one also doesn't have the garlic flavor as the
one at Frank's. However, I do see some flakes of something. Maybe that's just the charcoal or the burntness of the crust, but this is perfectly fine. The texture of coal-fired pizza is excellent. Both are cracker, crispy thin, totally delicious. Okay, we're gonna move on and try the other one. Okay, the next slice I'm going to have is the pepperoni pizza with the mozzarella and the pepperoni. Now, as you can see, the pepperoni is in these little cups. That seems to be the trend now. You don't have the large pepperonis anymore. I think I think Instagram and all these other companies have done social media has really accentuated the cup style pepperoni. But okay, we're gonna give this a try right now. I really like this. First things first, the crust. It's very crunchy. It has a little less of the charcoal flavor, but I think the reason why I have less of the charcoal flavor is because that pepperoni is strong. In fact, it has a strong sweet flavor, sweet and savory flavor that the one at Frank's didn't have. That's strange because they both look the same. This tastes a little different, a little sweeter, a little more savory. When I pull the pepperoni off, it's the same situation as the other pizza. It's small, round, size of a nickel, and also it's not cut particularly thick. It's actually a thin cut, just like the other one. Okay. After eating that piece, I also got a good taste of the tomato sauce. The tomato sauce here seems to be a little brighter than the other pizza. It tastes more astringent, but more bright. Yeah, I think there are two really good aspects about this. Another thing that I should mention is that this pizza doesn't have as much oil as the other pepperoni that I had. See, that's another difference. So yeah, despite the fact that they're both coal-fired pizzas, this one has a little less oil. And finally, in terms of texture, the crunch is about the same. Not bad. I wanted to point out something about coal-fired pizza. I noticed at both restaurants, when you have the crust, coal-fired pizzas tend to make the crust not as chewy. They're firmer, they're tougher, and they tend to have more of a weedy flavor. Gas-fired pizzas tend to be a little more chewy, a little more doughy, a little more bready, but this is more like a fired type of bread that is quickly cooked and hardened quickly. So the texture is definitely different from a gas-fired pizza. Another dish that we ordered is called the carbonara. Now this would probably have some ham in it. Here's some grated Parmesan cheese on top. And the portion is pretty generous. I would say from here to here, I see about 6.5 inches to 7 inches in diameter. So yeah, we're gonna give this a try. The next dish I'm having is the spaghetti with carbonara sauce. Now, this is the spaghetti with carbonara sauce. There's a bit of bacon in here, so let's take a look and see what it's like. Okay, I can immediately taste that there's lots of cheese in here. It's not super creamy. As you can see, it's not shiny with cheese. It's not all clumped together. It's just enough cheese just to coat the spaghetti, but not overwhelm the spaghetti. It's nice and subtle. When I'm eating the bacon, it's definitely not salty. It's not overly salty, which is good. So it's not like the breakfast bacons that you get at the supermarket. Basically, this carbonara is a very subtle carbonara. Not too salty, not too much sauce, just about right. Everything is just put in the right portions. So yeah, this carbonara sauce on spaghetti is not bad. Next dish that we have is, it appears to be a fettuccine, but a fettuccine with bolognese sauce. And there are these little dollops of cheese, and I'm not sure what those are. It looks like either a creme fraiche or a mozzarella. We'll find out pretty soon. Okay, Now what we're going to do is that we're going to mix the ricotta right into that fettuccine. And as you can see, there's some of that bolognese sauce right on the bottom right there. And yeah, once it's mixed in, it's gonna be nice and creamy, as you can see. Okay, the next dish I'm going to try is the fettuccine with the bolognese sauce. So this is the fettuccine with bolognese sauce. It's a nice red color mixed in with that ricotta, which were in little white dollops on the plate. Let's give this a try. My first bite. Nice and creamy. That's my first note. They give you plenty of ricotta to make this a creamy sauce. But you know something? The tomato sauce actually is very bright. It cuts right through the ricotta. I really like this because this tomato flavor is actually pretty strong, despite the fact that there's that dairy that is tamping down on the astringency of the tomato sauce, so it's not bad. The ground beef is perfectly fine, nice and tasty. There's not too little of it, not too much, just the right amount. As with the other pasta, they seem to balance the meat and the pasta amounts in a pretty balanced way. I appreciate that. Fettuccine is cooked well. It's not undercooked. It's cooked perfectly. Not undercooked, not overcooked. It gives me a good bite. Finally, in terms of quantity, both plates give you about 6 to 7 inches of pasta on your plate. And it's piled, not super high, but piled up about an inch, inch and a half. That's plenty of pasta for one person. I really like it. No need to add salt or pepper. They got it all in both plates. To finish the meal, we ordered the tiramisu. And this is your basic tiramisu with the cream, with the coffee powder, and with something chunky in the middle. Not sure what that is, but we're going to give this a try. And look how beautiful the design is. S as in Sally. Okay, now's the time to try the tiramisu, our dessert. Here it is. And I got all the layers into this spoon. So let's try this. A strong coffee flavor, nice smooth cream, and nice sweetness. Perfect tiramisu flavor, not too sweet, has the nice bitterness of the coffee, and it's served nice and cold. A very good example of a tiramisu. Now's the time for your favorite part of the show. Ta-da! The star of the show. And today, I'm going to be basing the star in the show on restaurants, not just the pizzas, but the restaurants. So we've tried 2 pizzas. We tried a clam pizza and we tried a pepperoni pizza from Frank Pepe's and Sally's. And we put them head to head. And I have to evaluate both on their merits. So the main difference between the Frank Pepe's clam pizza and the Sally's pizza is that the Frank's pizza is more savory than the Sally's pizza. I think it's because of the types of cheeses that they use in the Frank's, which is that pecorino and the romano, and basically has a very strong cheesy flavor. The clams are equivalent, and also the crusts are equivalent. So what makes the clam pizza better at Frank's is the savoriness of it. Now, let's look at the second pizza. The second pizza that we had was a pepperoni pizza. The winner of that, I believe, is Sally's. Now, Sally's pizza, the reason why I thought that was better was because Sally's had less grease on the pizza. The mozzarella didn't seem overdone. It didn't weigh down the pizza. The Frank's pizza seemed to be heavier. It was more floppy. It sort of decreased some of that crispy goodness of the coal-fired dough. Also, another aspect of the Sally's that I felt was a little better is, surprisingly, the pepperoni. The pepperoni was the same size, same thickness, but for some reason, it seemed less oily and also had a sweeter flavor to it. So yeah, I don't know if their suppliers are the same, but somehow the Sally's pizza had a better pepperoni. In terms of the sauces were equivalent. So by a whisker, Sally's was better for the pepperoni. When I say what is the star of the show, this is going to be a first. The star of the show is actually both restaurants. And the reason why the star of the show is both restaurants is because they're equivalent on so many aspects. I just showed you how equivalent the pizzas are. Their dining rooms are also pretty equivalent. They're very modern, they're very comfortable, very inviting, and the service is very nice. The waiters at both places came up to our table, gave us time to place our orders, to look through that menu, and yeah, they're very kind. Service is equivalent. So I have to say that this might sound like a cop-out, but the star of the show is both of these institutions. They both started in New Haven. They both are 100 years old, almost 100 years old. They're here for a reason. They represent New Haven pizza. Coming from New York, I appreciate their style. We have our own style in New York, but you know, this is something that I really appreciate. And yeah, I would say that that road sign that we saw driving into Connecticut that said that Connecticut is the pizza capital of the US, yeah, they have a claim to it. I'll give them that. Thanks for watching the Minute Review Show. And if you like more of these videos, please subscribe to the channel, press the thumbs up, and also, if you would like to support me, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. And also, please refer this channel to your friends. We cover the New York City area, a lot of restaurants in the New York City area. Sometimes we take trips, like today in Stamford. So yeah, definitely follow my channel, and I'll have many more of these videos coming to you in the weeks ahead. The final check before tip at Sally's Apizza is $114.01.